Welcome to Troop 542 Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Caleb Cho and Nicholas Sabula. Thank you for all being here this evening. My name is Ed Borkowski. I'm the troop chairman for Troop 542 and 541. This time I'd like to introduce Father Patrick Muka, who's going to do our invocation.
In our Catholic tradition, we do use the sign of the cross. It's not meant to be any gesture of offense to any of you, but it's the way I was raised. So it would begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Good and gracious God, we give thanks to you for the blessings which you have bestowed upon the families of Caleb and Nicholas this evening. We give you thanks for the organization of Boy Scouts of America and the good that is accomplished through it. So we pray that our efforts here this evening may recognize you as the author of all that is good, and may this time that we spend together remind all of us what it means to be a true son or daughter of you. And this we ask through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Father. At this time I'd like to introduce Michael Robinson, Senior Patrol Leader, Troop 542. Who will lead us in the Scout Oath and Scout Law.
Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Face the flag. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All Scouts, please join me in the oath and law. On my honor,
I'll do my best to do my duty, to guard my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scouts are trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Thank you, Michael. Please be seated. Tell us about the Eagle Award. I'd like to introduce Chuck Bolger, Unit Commissioner, Cradle Liberty Council, and Troop 542.
Thank you. Got the mic. There's a story going around that I'm a pretty good speaker at these things, so I'm here to explode that myth tonight. I want to do something a little different. I was looking at, you guys looked at the program, right? Or did you know it by heart already? You guys. I'm looking at you two. I'm looking at the program here, and first of all, I can't even introduce you because Mr. Kruger's going to do that. Sir Hodges is going to talk about the requirements. There's going to be a Trail to Eagle video presentation. There's going to be people speaking for you. There's going to be an Eagle charge. So I have a little tiny thin slice to talk about, and it's the Eagle Award. So I want to do something different tonight. I got this mic because I want you guys to get up here and come down and sit with me. I'm serious. Come on up, you two. We're going to sit down right up front here. It's going to mess up the cameraman, the audience, and everybody else. But I want to ask you an honest question because you guys are also going to give a speech, so you've prepared a speech, right? Yeah. But this is going to be completely off the cuff. I want you to think of one memory of making Eagle. Take a minute and think about it, because I'm going to tell you about my memory of making Eagle. Now, I made Eagle, you can see the knot there, when I was 17 and 363 days. Familiar with that concept? Kind of late in the day, in other words. And at 17 years old, my memory of getting Eagle was, if I don't get this, my parents will never let me hear the end of it. Does that resonate with anybody? So that's my memory of Eagle as a 17-year-old. You guys are about 17, 18, right? So give me one memory, just real quick.
I guess one memory of making Eagle is probably mid-June, probably 2 weeks before my birthday, staying up late at night to work on my proposal and preparation, being like, I need to get this done right now because I'm way behind.
There you go. Okay, how about you?
I think that my memory of making Eagle is the night before my board review. I was ironing my uniform and shining my shoes. I was feeling really nervous, going over all the oath of law, trying to memorize everything last minute.
Trying to memorize the oath of law as if you didn't know it by heart after how many years in Scouts. So you guys kind of get my point. You can go back and sit down here, folks. You kind of get my point there. That's what a young man, a teenager, on a deadline thinks about Eagle. I better get this done. You have a lot to look forward to. At my age, I get to look back. And I get to look back at what Eagle has meant subsequently. And this is what I'm going to try to plant a thought in you guys tonight, because this is not the end of anything. This might be the end of your youth scout career, but it's the beginning of your journey. The rest of your life as Eagle Scouts. And I have to tell you that it's more than ironing your uniform or memorizing the oath of law or finishing a project report. If we've done our job properly, all of our great adult leaders here, and all these great parents and relatives here, if we've done our job right, Eagle Scout is etched somewhere in here. Eagle Scout doesn't come off you when you take the medal off your shirt, or take the shirt off, or take the merit band sashes off. Eagle Scout is a state of mind. It's a state of achievement. In fact, it's the very first achievement as a youth that is acknowledged and recognized throughout the adult world in America. And you don't know any of this because you're not quite there yet. But as you go through life and talk to other people, some of them are Scouts, some of them are Eagle Scouts, you're going to start to realize just how important this is. This is emblematic of your growth through the scouting movement as a person. Self-confidence, self-assurance, self-reliance, those are all the things that there's no badges for, but they're in there. So that's what Eagle Scout means to me. I get to look back. I'm an old man. You are young men. You need to look forward to the rest of your life, letting everybody know just what it is to be an Eagle Scout. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. That wasn't different. That was good. That was good. At this time, I'd like to introduce our incoming Scoutmaster, Mark Kruger, who will introduce our Eagle candidates.
Joseph, will you escort Caleb up to the podium? All right. Caleb joined us in the fall of 2013 with his elementary school friend, Nick. He earned a total of 22 merit badges, including search and rescue, electronics, and American cultures. He served in several leadership roles, including quartermaster, assistant patrol leader, and assistant senior patrol leader for logistics. When I asked him about his favorite memory from scouting, he said it was his trip to Sea Base in 2018. Caleb also attended the 2017 National Jamboree at the Summit Bechtel Reserve in West Virginia. The National Jamboree takes place over 2 weeks in the summer and offers zip lines, BMX courses, rock climbing, patch trading, and stadium shows. Caleb's leadership project totaled 130 hours. He planned and led a team of scouts, friends, and adults in planting 150 native trees and shrubs at the Pine Run Park, which benefited Upper Dublin. His reforestation project earned him a recognition award from the township. In line with his service efforts, when I asked him what he was most proud of, Caleb said it was his efforts in collecting cans of food as part of our annual Scouting for Food activity. Caleb is a senior at Upper Dublin High School, where he leads several clubs, is a National Merit semifinalist, and an AP Scholar with honor. His near-term goal is to just get through high school. He has run cross-country for 4 years at Upper Dublin and is a second-degree black belt in kendo. His other interests include filmmaking and painting, When I asked if he had any words of wisdom to pass along, he said, "Try and make as many friends as possible while you're in Scouts." Please join me in welcoming Caleb Chow. Joseph, would you escort Nick up to the stage? Nick joined us in the fall of 2013 with his elementary school friend Caleb. He earned a total of 25 merit badges, including space exploration, wilderness survival, and game design. He also earned his Ad Alteri Day Religious Award, which is the Catholic Scouting Award. He served in several leadership roles, including assistant patrol leader, instructor, and lead instructor. When I asked him about his favorite memory from scouting, he said it was also his trip to Sea Base, which is one of our most popular high-adventure trips. At Sea Base, the boys sailed a boat in the Florida Keys for a week while also enjoying opportunities to swim, snorkel, and fish. Nick's leadership project totaled 141 hours and benefited his church, Mary Mother of the Redeemer Church, where he planned and led a team of scouts, friends, and adults to construct a multi-level gravel trail extending their outdoor walking trail. He told me he was most proud of his Eagle project. Nick is a senior at Germantown Friends School and is busy applying to colleges where he'd like to pursue a career in the sciences. His near-term goal is to finish the fall with good grades. In addition to his interest in engineering and STEM activities, he likes to play basketball, squash, lift weights, hike, and do kumdo. When I asked him if he had any words of wisdom to pass along, he said, "Be tenacious and don't throw in the towel because you're lazy." Please welcome me in joining Nick Sabula.
Thank you, Mark. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Arlen Hotchkiss, Assistant Scoutmaster for Troop 542, who's going to review the Eagle requirements with our Trail to Eagle Scouts.
Thank you, Ed, and good evening. I want to personally congratulate Nick and Caleb, who I've worked very closely with in Troop 542. I'm very proud to recognize them tonight. Tonight we're here to recognize two outstanding young men who have reached the rank of Eagle Scout, which is the highest rank possible in the Boy Scouts of America. In order to reach that rank, they first have to earn 6 other ranks, and to talk about those rank requirements, we've invited scouts from Troop 541 and 542 to come forward to describe the requirements of each rank for you tonight. So tonight we're actually making history because we have the first female scout to be part of the Trail to Eagle, Alicia Gushu. Could you come forward and talk about the scout rank?
I became a scout to become a scout. I had to show scout spirit by understanding and agreeing to live by the scout oath, law, motto, outdoor code. Show my intention to participate in scouting by joining the troop. Learn some scout skills, including repeating the Pledge of Allegiance, demonstrating the scout sign, salute, and handcrafts, tying a square knot, demonstrating the elements of the scout badge, and completing some exercises with my parents on prevention of child abuse.
Thank you, Alicia. Excellent job. Next, Lance Yang will tell us about the Tenderfoot Rank.
To become a Tenderfoot Scout, I had to show scout spirit by memorizing and beginning to live by the scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code. Learn about my patrol and become active in it. Participate in scouting by learning about my patrol, attending meetings, and attending at least one camping trip where when I slept in a tent, I pitched myself and helped cook one of my patrol's meals. Learn some basic scout skills related to outdoor safety, camping, cooking, knot tying, hiking, display of the flag, physical fitness, basic first aid. Use the EDGE method to teach a skill.
Thank you, Lance. Well done. Our next scout is Matthew Gregg. Matthew is actually a first-class scout, but he's going to talk to us about the second-class rank.
To become a second-class scout, I had to show scout spirit by continuing to live by the scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code, participate in scouting by attending meetings in a total of 5 activities since joining, learn some additional scout skills related to care for the outdoors, camping, cooking, map and compass, use of knife, axe, and saw, fire building, hiking, participating in a flag ceremony, wild animal identification, basic swimming and swimming safety, intermediate first aid, participating in a school or community program related to substance abuse, earn some money and save a portion, show community service by participating in a service project for at least 1 hour.
Thank you, Matthew. Again, well done. Our next scout is James Murphy, who will talk to us about the first-class rank.
To become a first-class scout, I had to show scout spirit by continuing to live by the scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code, and inviting someone to join our troop. Participate in scouting by attending meetings at a total of 10 activities since joining and demonstrating leave no trace principles. Learn even more scout skills related to finding directions without a compass, orienteering, nutrition, food storage, food handling, and cooking. Serving as my patrol's cook for an entire weekend, learning the duties of a citizen from a public official, wild plant identification, making a project using ropes and lashings, swimming and water safety, advanced first aid. Learn about internet safety and cyberbullying.
Fantastic. Thank you, James. Up to this point, the scouts are learning basic skills with first aid, cooking, knot tying being very common. With the star rank, the focus changes to more advanced skills, with leadership becoming ever more important. Andy Wang is going to talk to us about the star rank.
To become a Star Scout, I had to show Scout spirit by continuing to live by the Scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code, participate in scouting by being active in the troop and my patrol for 4 months while as a first-class scout, learn advanced skills by earning a total of 6 merit badges, including 4 from the list required for Eagle. A typical 6 merit badges for a Star Scout would be swimming, citizenship in the community, life-saving, family life, basketry, and leatherworking. Show community service by participating in a service project for at least 6 hours while a first-class scout, and demonstrating leadership by serving the troop for 4 months in an approved leadership position, such as assistant patrol leader, librarian, historian, or den chief.
Thanks, Andy. Nice job. I should have mentioned Andy is actually a life scout. Our next rank of life is the last step before Eagle, and the requirements are even more difficult. Alicia's brother, RJ Gushu, will tell us about what it takes to reach the rank of life.
To become a Life Scout, I had to show Scout spirit by continuing to live by Scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code, participating in scouting by being active in troop, and my patrol for 6 months while I was Star Scout, learning advanced skills by earning an additional 5 merit badges, including 3 more the list required for Eagle, so that I had a total of 11 in all. A typical 5 merit badges for someone progressing to life to earn might be camping, first aid, citizenship in a nation, computers, and golf. Using the EDGE method to teach younger scouts several of these requirements. Show community service by participating in another service project for at least 6 hours while a Star Scout.
Another excellent job. Thanks, RJ. Our Eagle Scout representative is Joseph Seiler. He received Eagle just last year.
To become Eagle Scout, I had to show Scout spirit by continuing to live by the Scout oath, law, motto, and outdoor code. Participate in scouting by being active in the troop in my patrol for 6 months while a life scout. Learn advanced skills by earning an additional 10 merit badges, including the remaining 6 from the list required for Eagle, so that I had a total of 21 in all. A typical 10 merit badges for someone completing his Eagle to earn might be citizenship in the world, communications, personal fitness, personal management, engineering, model design and building, cooking, environmental science, small boat sailing, and atomic energy. Provide service to the community by planning, developing, and giving leadership to others in a service project helpful to a religious institution, a school, or our community. Other scouts from the troop provide a source of helpers for the project, which typically takes a total of about 200 hours of effort. Demonstrate leadership by serving in the troop for 6 months in an improved leadership position, such as Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Scribe, Quartermaster, or Patrol Leader.
Thanks, Joe. Again, a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trail to Eagle, as represented by Troops 541 and 542 Scouts, stands before you. Behind them are 2 young men who have climbed that long trail and reached their goal of Eagle Scout. You're now welcome to come forward and take pictures of these gentlemen and lady. Thank you, Scouts. Take your seats.
Eagle Scouts, you can sit down also. At this time is the fun part of our ceremony. We will see a video presentation prepared by Mike Myers and Mike Gibson from our troop committee.
Both Caleb and Nick joined Troop 542 in October of 2013, where they joined us at Elk Neck State Park in Maryland, and then Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation for a movie-making competition in November of that year. In December, Caleb and Nick were officially invested into the troop at our holiday party. Immediately after, they joined the Pine Tree Patrol, where they remained for much of their scouting career. January of 2014 kicked off with the Klondike Derby at Delmont Scout Reservation, followed by a day trip in February to Fort Mifflin. After the Pine Trees put on a rousing skit for our annual banquet, Nick joined us for our Gettysburg van trip, visiting battlefields and the Strasburg Railroad. Both scouts joined us for a gourmet cooking competition at Parvin State Park in New Jersey. Nick helped out on an Eagle project for Ryan McCauley, and then Caleb joined us for our Wet and Wild rafting trip on the Lehigh River. In August of 2014, Caleb and Nick both joined us for their first time at Resica Falls Scout Reservation for summer camp. Both boys were in the Pine Tree Patrol, and enjoyed shooting sports, boating, and the troop campfire throughout the week. In September, both boys were awarded their second-class rank, halfway to their trail to Eagle. Following our October district camp parade, Nick helped the troop in planting trees for our service ecology project, and then both boys collected cans for our Scouting for Food drive, before heading off to another camping trip for realistic first aid in November. Now at the end of their first year in Scouts, Caleb and Nick earned their first class rank in December of 2014, just before we celebrated an Eagle Scout ceremony with Patrick and Nam in January. After the pine trees came in first at the Gold Rush sled race for the Klondike Derby, they enjoyed the troop dinner and then a trip to Washington, D.C., visiting museums, memorials, and paying tribute to a former leader at Arlington National Cemetery, John Allen. Up next, you'll see photos of Troop 542's spring activities in 2015, including a trip to Bass River, a tree planting service project, the pine trees giving a Hawaii-themed gourmet cooking competition at Hickory Run, Caleb and his dad enjoying a canoe trip on the Delaware, and finally a highway cleanup to round out our spring quarter. Now in their second year with Troop 542, Caleb and Nick joined us at Resca Falls Scout Reservation to enjoy a swim in the bush canoe, the troop campfire, and the pizza party on Thursday night. As Caleb and the troop kicked off the fall with a September backpacking trip, both boys then joined us for the September campfire where they earned their star ranks, the ILST leadership training, Bayshore camping trip, a first aid meet for the district, and then Caleb closed out the year with a perfect attendance award at the holiday party. As the new year began, Nick was awarded his Adultery Day Award and then joined us for another Eagle ceremony to celebrate some of our scouts. The troop then went along to the Washington District Iditarod on a cold January morning. In March, both boys joined us for an extreme board game competition at Camp Ware, followed by a van trip to New England, and then a catapult building at Mountain Scout Reservation, and finally, you'll see Nick earning his life rank at the troop dinner that year. Now becoming the older scouts in the troop, Caleb and Nick helped teach some of our younger guys scout skills at a requirements makeup day, and then joined us for an amazing ride down the Lehigh River for whitewater rafting. Summer camp at Resca Falls Scout Reservation, where you'll see the boys enjoying merit badges, meals in the dining hall, and field games on Monday night with their patrol of the pine trees. September of 2016, and we kicked off our scouting year with a trip to Musser, our Scouting for Food can drive, a trip to Camp Mac for a movie making competition, and then December had a trip to Pensbury Manor for a one-day exploration of history. After Nick represented the life rank in January of 2017 at an Eagle ceremony, both boys joined their patrol for a Klondike Derby, and then a mousetrap race at Horseshoe Scout Reservation. And then the boys joined us for rock climbing at French Creek State Park, a bus trip to the Shenandoah Valley, including Luray Caverns and Skyline Drive, and finally, our spring season wrapped up with the father-son canoe trip, one of our largest ever on the Delaware River. After being recognized in June at our troop campfire, both Caleb and Nick set off for West Virginia to the Summit Bechtel Reserve to join thousands of other scouts from across the country for the National Jamboree. Troop 542's September program year kicked off with an opportunity to hike on the Appalachian Trail, and then Nick took advantage of a STEM event that the council was running, followed by a camporee at Camp Hart, a snowy Rodney camping trip in cabins, and finally, February of the next year, showed a troop carnival at Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation. Enjoy. In March of 2018, the troop had their first ever bus trip to New York City, which included a trip to the Natural History Museum, the 9/11 Memorial, and Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Immediately after that, the Scouts enjoyed a weekend at Rescafall Scout Reservation and took part in shooting sports activities where they competed against all the patrols in our troop. While Caleb learned most of his leadership skills as a patrol leader in an ASPL, Nick took part as an instructor, teaching younger scouts the skills needed to succeed. The boys then had the opportunity to join us on the Lehigh River for a whitewater rafting trip in June. In June of 2018, Caleb and Nick had the opportunity to attend Florida Sea Base, one of Boy Scouts of America's pinnacle high adventure programs. They had the chance to sail for a week in the Florida Keys, fish, and live aboard a working sailboat. As we close out the video, we sincerely hope that Caleb and Nick will take with them the lessons learned, the character they built, and the friends they've made for many years to come. Congratulations.
Speaking on behalf of Caleb will be Jay Ivner, Scoutmaster of Troop 541.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jay Ivner. I was the Scoutmaster here at 542 for 41 years before moving on to take the role of Scoutmaster of our new troop 541 for girls. Over those 41 years, I think I've participated in over 160 of these Eagle ceremonies. But this is the first time I've done so in this role of speaker for one of the boys, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight to say a few words about Caleb. I first met Caleb when he joined our troop. I got to know him immediately, maybe because he reminded me a little of myself. I even thought we looked a little alike. Like me, he seemed more interested in academic pursuits than physical ones, although he does run cross-country, which is more than I could ever say. At his first Scoutmasters Conference, a time when most boys tell me they want to play for the Phillies or be a Navy SEAL, Caleb told me his long-term goal was to get into a good college. He's well on the way to that. He's a National Merit semifinalist, an AP Scholar with honor, and he's awaiting early decision from Cornell University. The requirements for Eagle Scout can be broken into 5 broad categories: participation, learning skills, service to others, leadership, and ethics. So I thought I'd say a few words about Caleb in regard to each of those. Caleb's participation in our program has been outstanding. He comes to almost every meeting and goes on almost every trip. In fact, in 2015, I gave Caleb an award because he had 100% attendance at both meetings and trips. That's something only 2 or 3 boys have done in all my years as Scoutmaster. When people think of scouting, they think of outdoor skills like camping, hiking, tying knots, and using an axe. As you've seen in the slideshow and from reading his bio in tonight's program, Caleb has certainly learned all those skills. But the requirement for skills goes well beyond that. To become an Eagle Scout, you need to earn 21 merit badges, and through that program, Caleb has learned a variety of skills from archaeology to wood carving. Some of the skills, like wood carving, are just for fun, but others, like communication and personal management, are important life skills. Still others, like electronics, might help point him to or away from a career choice. The citizenship and American cultures badges have certainly helped foster his interest in civics and American history. Service to others is another area in which Caleb excels. Our troop does 6 or 7 service projects every year, including highway cleanups, ecology projects, and service to the church where we meet. Unsurprisingly, attendance at those activities is much lower than our outings that are more fun-oriented. However, one face you almost always see at service projects is Caleb's. Becoming an Eagle Scout requires that you develop, organize, and lead a service project, and Caleb met that by organizing a team to plant 150 trees at a local park. A really important aspect of scouting is leadership. As a scout who was extremely active in the troop, who had developed a lot of skills, and who had a willingness to serve others, Caleb was well positioned to take on leadership positions of significant responsibility. And he did just that. First, he attended one of our leadership training courses. Then, for 2 years, he served as patrol leader of the Pine Tree Patrol. Being a patrol leader in a troop like ours means a lot of hard work. The patrol leader is a vital link in the leadership chain. He, more than any other leader, has direct contact with the scouts. It's very important that he has set a good example for his patrol members. His most important functions are helping the patrol work together, communications, leading the patrol on camping trips, and helping the younger scouts learn. He also plans patrol meetings and activities. Preparing a patrol for a trip means working with its members to get ready for the activities on the trip. On our most recent trip, that was a catapult building competition. The patrol leader also has to lead the patrol in planning a menu and buying the food, putting together a duty roster, making sure the patrol's equipment is in good shape, and communicating with everyone to keep them on the same page. It obviously requires a lot of communication and delegation. That extends to the trip itself, where the patrol needs to set up camp, cook meals, and take part in all the activities. Caleb did that for 2 years. Then he moved up to the position of Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, which included oversight of our troop quartermasters. Scouting isn't the only place where Caleb demonstrates leadership. At Upper Dublin High School, he leads several clubs, including Investments Club, Latin Club, and History Club. I've talked about Caleb's participation, his skills, his service, and his leadership. That leaves me with the most important of the 5 requirements for Eagle: ethics. In scouting, that means living up to the Scout law. I think Caleb exemplifies those principles. The first Scout law is trustworthy, and Caleb is certainly that. He's someone you can depend on. You never need to wonder if Caleb will show up or if he'll do a good job when he does. Another important law is helpful, and Caleb is that too. I've witnessed it on service projects, highway cleanups, and campouts. 2 more are courteous and friendly. Caleb is always there with a smile. Nobody's perfect, and there is the incident involving a bike at summer camp. But what happens at Brescia stays at Brescia, and that was a long time ago. I'm proud to say that if you were writing an article about Eagle Scout for Wikipedia, you could put Caleb's picture there as a perfect illustration. This is the beauty of scouting. We train leaders who are willing to serve, are skillful, and most importantly, are ethical. Caleb is a perfect example, and I'm proud to welcome him to the ranks of Eagle Scouts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Len Cibola, great uncle Nicholas Cibola.
That video took me back almost 70 years as a scout in Troop 197 in Philadelphia. And we didn't do anywhere nearly as the exciting things that I saw on that video tonight. Even though the attainment of Eagle rank is a personal accomplishment, the role of the family that provided the support and encouragement needs to be recognized. By extension, family also includes friends and members of each young man's faith community. So the success of Nick and Caleb is also the success of the community that provided the environment that produced these fine young men. My knowledge of Nick is almost as long as his parents. We saw him in the hospital right after he was born. I watched him grow from infancy to this tall specimen of manhood that I know today. And thinking about how I could best characterize the person that I know as Nicholas Sabula, I thought about the moral and ethical principles that all scouts are expected to embrace, and examples of how Nick integrated these values into his life. I could list a number of his activities and behaviors that demonstrate how he meets the expectation of the Scout Oath and law. But I thought that anyone who really knows Nick is aware of his character and has probably observed or experienced many examples of his worthiness to be recognized today. His everyday activities and responsibilities include daily home chores, including heavy lifting and snow shoveling, church every Sunday where he sets up a classroom and breaks it down for the children's liturgy. He drives Karen, his sister, to activities when his mom and dad are occupied and can't otherwise be there. He's one of the senior leaders of the Model UN Club at school. He serves as a lead instructor for younger boys in his troop. He volunteers at food drives, at a food bank, STEM events, including highway cleanup and ecology programs. He excels at understanding and using technology, earning STEM merit badges and volunteering at robotics events. He persevered and overcame obstacles that arose during his Eagle project, such as unexpected issues with the terrain and reduced volunteer workforce. You could say that all of these behaviors and activities are expected of a young man pursuing the Eagle rank, and you would be right. So on further reflection of just who Nicholas Sabula really is, I saw in him a character trait that's not part of the Scout law, but is a virtue that enhances all the values and behaviors of that law. That is humility. Nick is a quiet person and speaks and acts in ways that don't draw attention to himself or to his accomplishments. When he speaks, it's after careful thought and reflection. He's not boastful or self-aggrandizing. There's no affectation or need for recognition. By example, when he and another scout responded to assist an adult swimmer in distress at Sea Base Camp, Nick never told his family of his actions. His dad learned of the episode from the parent of another scout. His actions speak volumes. To sum this all up, Nick has shown through his accomplishments in the scouting community and his dedication to family, friends, and faith that he has earned the recognition as an exemplary member of society. He has shown that he has the qualities of a true leader, one guided by ethical and moral values and informed by the virtue of humility. His attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout is not just a recognition of excellence in past performance, but an indicator of great things yet to be done. With young men like Nick and Caleb on the threshold of adulthood, the future He's in good hands. Congratulations, Nick. Congratulations, Caleb.
Thank you, Lynn. So at this time, we will be having the awards presented, but I'd like to point out on this table in front of me, there are many awards from Pennsylvania State Representatives, U.S. Senators, and many other organizations. So I welcome you to come up and look at this after our ceremony is over. And I also like to point out our Eagle Scout roster that's to my right and left, that Jay mentioned, the number of Eagle Scouts that this troop has been able to award over the 45 years or something. Okay, this is the time you guys have been waiting for. Eagle Scout Caleb Cho, please escort your parents to the front, please. Eagle Scout Nick Cibola, please escort your parents to the front. And Chuck Folger, you're going to help Mark present the awards.
This is a proud moment for all of us up here, to be able to award Caleb his Eagle Scout Award. Since there's pins involved, I think we're going to ask him. You want to hold these for a minute? As we know, the Scouts get a lot of support from their families and parents. We have a rose for Caleb to present to his mother. And Eagle pin for his mom. And Eagle pin for your dad. And a trophy from the troop committee, which reads, Caleb Y.K. Cho, Troop 542, achieved rank of Eagle Scout, July 11th, 2019. That date is the date of his board of review, which is when he officially became Scout. All right. trophy for Nick reads Nicholas Sabula, Troop 542, achieved rank of Eagle Scout, August 22nd, 2019.
Eagle Scout Nick Sabola, please escort your parents back to their seats and then come back to the front. Eagle Scout Caleb Cho, please escort your parents back to their seats and then come back to the front.
As we mentioned, our scouts receive a lot of help and guidance along the way. And so we also have this Eagle Scout Mentor pin, which we've asked them to select a mentor. It's kept secret for now, but we're going to ask these guys to tell us who their mentor is, someone who's meant a lot to them and helped them along the trail to Eagle. So if you'd like to tell us who you selected.
I would like to give this mentor pin to Jay Iger, my first Scoutmaster.
And Nick, your mentor pin?
I would like to give this pin to my dad.
We have two more troop traditions. Caleb, if you please show your name on the Eagle Scout roster, which will ever hang in our hall where we meet. Go ahead. And then move your name from the life rank to the Eagle rank on the rank board. And then come up front here. Take a seat. And Nick, if you could please unveil your name on the Eagle Scout roster and move your name from the life rank to the Eagle rank. I'd like to reintroduce our incoming Scoutmaster, Mark Kruger. Give the Eagle Scout chain.
Thank you, Ed. Caleb and Nick, I must say those Eagle medals look pretty good on there. When I spoke to you last week in preparation for the ceremony, I asked each of you about your current goals. And both of you had similar answers, which were as seniors, you wanted to finish up your high school years in a strong way. Something I have no concerns over. At the end of high school, there are a lot of things that are wrapping up for you, and I know that you've worked hard in all areas of your life. Academics, sports and athletics, clubs and activities, church, and of course Scouts. And you couldn't have ended your time in Scouts any stronger. But this ceremony is not the end of the trail, so to speak. It's really only a step. A big step, but only a step in a much longer journey. None of us knows what you will encounter on that journey, but it will be filled with opportunity, challenges, ups and downs. Your time in Scouts has helped prepare you for what lies ahead. Caleb, you led the pine trees through menu planning, duty rosters, and various outings and events. Nick, you've worked with younger Scouts as an instructor to teach them the skills and knowledge they needed to get started on their trail to Eagle. Your Eagle projects have taken you through a complete project, from planning and implementation to final reporting, navigating a maze of reviews and approvals from both inside and outside of Scouting. Scouting has also given you the Scout Oath and Scout Law. You've committed to following these as a Scout, and whether you realize it or not, you've now joined the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. and you will forever be an Eagle Scout. With that comes a commitment to honor the Scout Oath. You've promised to do your duty to God first, your duty to others second, and your duty to yourself third. It also comes with a commitment to follow the Scout law, to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful. As an Eagle Scout, others will be looking up to you to fulfill this oath well beyond this room. The news is often filled with the bad things that happen and the poor decisions that people make, but rest assured there is more good happening than bad. The Scout Oath is not just words, and the law is not just a list to memorize, but rather ways to measure your decisions in life. What effect will this action have in helping me fulfill my duty to God? How will it affect other people I care about and care for me? Will my deeds make me a better, stronger person or bring me down? As an Eagle Scout, you not only represent yourself, but all the brotherhood of men, young and old, that have made the same commitment to be honorable and courageous that you made today. And so my challenge for you is to hold on to and use the Scout Oath and law as you go forward in life. Let the hard work and dedication of your years in scouting remind you that you can step out of your comfort zone and do great things. This will often not be easy and may at times be very difficult, but you are ready. Towards the end of his life, Robert Baden-Powell wrote in a letter in 1940, "No one can pass through life any more than he can pass through a bit of country without leaving tracks behind. And those tracks may be helpful to those coming after him in finding their way. I challenge you to always consider the tracks you leave behind."
Thank you, Mark. And to respond to Scoutmaster's challenge, we first have Caleb Cho.
Mr. Kruger, I accept your challenge. I will fulfill my duty to God, my country, other people, and myself. I will strive to live a life of service and to uphold the values that have been instilled in me by Scouting. Scouting has made me a stronger person and leader. The program has put me on a path to lead a moral life of service. I learned discipline and perseverance. The qualities of the Scout law, loyalty, bravery, kindness, and the rest, were things that I developed and matured during my time with the troop. Scouting isn't all about camping or orienteering and first aid. While these things can be very useful and important, I believe that the true spirit of Scouting is enabling boys to realize their potential as leaders and responsible citizens. Many of my happiest memories of Scouts are set around a campfire on a trail, but my favorite trips were always the bus trips. Hotels and big cities were always a welcome treat right before spring break. I love being able to freely roam places like Washington, D.C. and New York with a few of my best friends. I also like that I could take showers, eat a lot of fast food, and use hotel gyms. For the Scouts in the room reaching for Eagle, don't give up. Don't think of getting Eagle as the end of the road or as a list of chores to write off. Rather, train yourself to live the Scout Oath and Law every day. Even if you don't make Eagle, you'll be making the world a better place. Also, try to have some fun along the way. Make a lot of good friends and try to laugh as much as possible. Because before you know it, you'll be 18. Before I end my remarks, I would like to thank my parents, my extended family, my teachers, and all the adult leaders and Scouts that have helped me along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. And now we'll hear from Eagle Scout Nicholas Bull.
First of all, I want to thank everyone here for coming out to my Court of Honor. It took me about 6 years of working to reach the rank of Eagle, and it wasn't easy work. There were many times that I felt lazy or unmotivated throughout this long road to Eagle, and I wouldn't have been able to get to this point in my scouting career if I didn't have all the support from my family, my friends, and from Troop 542. Before I became a Boy Scout, I didn't have any sort of clue what scouting was about or what activities they did. All the information that I knew came from my father, who was an Eagle Scout himself. But even then, all that I gathered from the stories that I was told were that scouting was an organization that children could participate in until their 18th birthday. They went on camping trips and did activities to earn merit badges, and the highest rank of scouting required you to perform a community service project of some sort. Suddenly, in the 6th grade, Caleb and my parents, who were already acquainted from elementary school, began speaking about finding and joining a Boy Scout troop in our local area. They eventually settled on Troop 542, and as I was told about how Caleb had already decided to join, I figured I may as well, since I could afford to spend one night of the week going to meetings. Over the next year, I quickly progressed through the ranks of scouting up to first class. From that point on, I would no longer have older scouts as instructors to guide them through my rank requirements, and I would be on my own to complete merit badges and various other requirements to get the star and life rank. During this period, where I was given a lot more leeway on how long it took me to earn my ranks, I became suddenly lazy temporarily. I thought to myself, why should I be spending all this time on this? School is more important to me, and besides, Eagle is just a rank. What does it mean? Luckily, I've never really enjoyed leaving a task incomplete, and through tenacity, I decided to press on and still work towards becoming an Eagle Scout, and I'm so grateful that I stuck to it. Through looking back on a lot of the hard work that I, at the moment, would have thought as silly and useless, I can see that now there is a meaning in the climb that must be made for years to become an Eagle. If the purpose of Boy Scouts is to transform youth into responsible adults, then I was approaching all the work I deemed useless wrong. Working towards Eagle is not like doing schoolwork or taking a test. The rank of Eagle is not meant to be some sort of badge you hang on the wall for bragging rights. Over time, I learned to appreciate all the valuable life skills that scouting had given back to me for all of my hard work. And through this change of perspective, I was able to carry on and complete the work towards Eagle Scout. So to all the young scouts in the room who may find themselves lacking incentive, I encourage you to alter your viewpoint of scouting. And upon thinking about all the unique and valuable things Scouts has given to you, you will find that refusing to give up is a worthwhile use of your time. Mr. Kruger, I accept your challenge. Through the years of teaching that Scouting has provided me, I'm now able to see how crucial this was to my teenage development, and I promise to honor the oath and law for the rest of my life. I would once again like to thank my family, especially my parents, for pushing me along on this journey, my friends inside and outside of Scouting for aiding me during my Eagle project, and to all the adults that help out with Troop 542. Because if it were not for every one of you, 542 would not have the ability to run as smoothly as it does. Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to reintroduce Father Patrick Muka, Vicar at Mary Mother of the Redeemer Church in North Wales, to give us our benediction.
Lots of things come to mind as I'm sitting and reveling in the accomplishments of these two young men that are now seated behind me. I thought they were over there. But now that we've heard about them, I'll leave you with two thoughts, especially to our young scouts here this evening. Caleb and Nicholas joined together. You know, the buddy system in Scouts. None of us are lone rangers. So find a good friend to keep you accountable, to walk up that road to Eagle. And also, perhaps partiality toward Nicholas. Really what comes to mind is the example of Joseph, the foster father of Jesus. Called him the just man in the scriptures. We don't know what Joseph did. We don't know what Joseph said. But we know that Joseph was obedient to the angel when the angel appeared, when the messenger of God spoke to him. So I invite us all to stand now to pray the Lord's Prayer. Jesus taught us to call God our Father, so we have the courage to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. and lead us not into temptation,
but
deliver us from evil. Pray that for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. We ask the Lord to bless you and to keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and give you his gracious gift of his peace each and every day of your life. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Father. Be seated. Now, final tradition. If Eagle Scout Nicholas Cibola and Caleb Cho could please come down front, I'd like to ask all the Eagle Scouts in the audience to please come forward and congratulate these two new members to our Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. And once all the Eagle Scouts have come forward, we'll ask everyone else in the audience to please come forward and congratulate them. The families are prepared a reception for us in the Friendship Hall, which is out the double doors in the back to your left. If you want to go through the building, there are some steps, or you can go out the doors and walk up to the next building to my left up this way.